Yeah, great expectations for Scotland's boxers here after all they won 2 golds. Most memorable by Charlie Flynn. Do you remember? The postman delivers. He was buzzing like a jar of wasps, as he used to say back then. So high hopes here, as I say, for the Scottish boxers. It's about 25 past 2 in our afternoon here on the Gold Coast. If you're just waking up, good morning. A rather combative start, I fancy, to your day with all of this boxing. And indeed, we're going to stay with the boxing just now for one more round, and one more bout, in fact. And we're going to stay in this welterweight division as well for a little bit of history being made today by Billy Le Poullain. Now, he becomes the first Guernsey fighter ever to turn out in the Commonwealth Games. But if you were watching the Commonwealth Games opening ceremony last night, you will have seen, or this morning actually, I've got to get that right actually in my head, we are 9 hours ahead of you. You will have heard me talking about Guernsey and the bailiwick of Guernsey, and how there are actually another 3 islands of Alderney, Sark and Herm in that bailiwick. Now, Billy is actually from Alderney, so he makes history today as not just the first Guernsey fighter ever to take part in the Commonwealth Games. Let's see how he does. He was Guernsey and indeed the Channel Island Sports Personality of the Year last year. He's won 7 out of his 8 fights, and he's up against Zaib of Pakistan. Good luck.
So into the second round then. The boxer wearing red made a very good start boxing behind that left jab. Did pick up a nick beneath his right eye in that opening 3 minutes. Good counter right hand over the top. Beat the rather comparatively slow left hand from Zaib. I was in Tashkent, Uzbekistan last summer to see Zaib competing in the Asian Championships. Lost in the second preliminary round of the welterweight tournament against Liu Wei, the hard-hooking, compact, muscular Chinese boxer. Unanimous decision went against him, against Liu. But he did show flashes in that contest, and he can pick his punches effectively. Nice movement from the waist from Le Poullain. And again, oh, that's a cracking right hand. I was about to pick out the left hook that Le Poullain has been landing to the body. It's proven to be quite an effective shot for him.
Yeah, he's picked up the pace well here. Le Poullain landed a couple of good shots. That right hand in particular. A little bit surprised that Zaib hasn't really upped the tempo here. I didn't think he had a good first round. I don't know what the corner have said to him, but he's quite content just to stay on that back foot. His problem is closing that gap and getting to his opponent. See there, he's too far away again.
Well, the movement of Le Poullain is posing problems for Zaib here. You can see him almost thinking about how he's going to launch his attacks, but when he does so, Le Poullain is in a different position. Both men just trading misses at the moment. But single phase attack surely not going to get it done for Zaib at this stage, and he was picked off by a cracking single shot from the man in red.
Yeah, he's waiting a little bit too long here, Zaib, very flat-footed, waiting for Le Poullain to come forward and for Le Poullain to close the gap, but he's just not too, he's not quick enough with his counters. And Le Poullain there just switching to southpaw also. So he's very confident at this stage, the man in red.
Well, Zaib says touché, and he switches to the southpaw stance. But still just not sure that he's busy enough, the man in blue, to make things uncomfortable for Le Poullain. So into the third and final round then, 69-kilogram welterweight action between Guernsey's first ever representative in the boxing ring at the Commonwealth Games. That's the man wearing red, William Le Poullain. Picked up a nick beneath his right eye in the opening round. The corner have done a good job ensuring that the injury hasn't worsened. And he staunched, well, what was a trickle of blood rather than a flow. Gul Zaib, the 26-year-old soldier from Karachi. Well, this is as busy as he's been all contest. Perhaps he's been read the riot act over in his blue corner and told that he has to quicken the tempo because in all probability he's conceded the first 2 rounds.
I think that's what he's got to do, Zaib. He's got to up the tempo. He's got to take the contest to Le Poullain. Close that gap down and throw more combinations, but it's Le Poullain again who's boxing well at distance, finding his opponent with a good right hand. His movement is better, his variation is a little bit better.
And again, this is where Zaib needs to be working away. He's slightly shorter, but when they came up close, he was content to hold on, maybe get himself a breather, but approaching the midpoint of this 3rd and final round, he really has got to go all out in pursuit of victory here if he hopes to progress through to the 2nd stage of the welterweight tournament. At least that's how I'm seeing it from our commentary position here, Richie.
Yeah, I agree. I think Zaib, he's waiting too long, but he's a fairly strong, quite a powerful man, but he's got to get into range to land those more bent arm shots and cause some problems. For too long periods in this contest run, he stayed on the outside and he's waited, and that's allowed Le Poullain to work. Having said that, good 1-2 there from him. But Le Poullain has worked better at distance. Now it's getting more exciting. Zaib's coming into it now because he's getting closer and closer.
Most certainly less than a minute to go, but Zaib enjoying his best period of the entire contest. Right hand success over the top again. Le Poullain used wonderful ring generalship in the first 2 rounds, but having expended so much energy, perhaps just the sheer incessant pressure being applied by Zaib is taking its toll. Still keeping his shape nicely, Le Poullain, but Zaib certainly enjoying more success in the final 3rd of this final round.
Yeah, this is a better round for Zaib. He's closed the gap down. This is what he's needed to do throughout the contest. Now he's a danger. How can Le Poullain get through this? He's doing well here.
Oh, both men trading shots as the 10-second clapper sounded before finishing the contest in a clinch, because they really did empty the tank there, going in pursuit of a place in the next round. You see evidence of that nick. It might be 2 nicks that he's picked up beneath the right eye. Well, I don't think Zaib has done enough to have his hand raised here, and he may well be kicking himself that he didn't step on the gas earlier as he did in the 3rd round.
I think so. I think his expressions at the end there, the facial expressions just said it all for me. He may have left it a little bit too late. He did have a better last round, a little bit wild there, but he got to Le Poullain in that last round and scored some good shots. But I think he feels he hasn't done enough. I would agree with him, but it's what the judges think is the main thing.
Well, it's gone to Zaib, which I do find surprising. But he is the man who has been declared a victor on a 3-2 split at the expense of William Le Poullain.
Oh, Billy can possibly feel a little hard done to there, because Ron and Richie obviously know their boxing and they know what they see. So he's made history, but just not the kind of history that he possibly would have liked, starting off with a win. It's not to be for Billy Le Poullain. Now, it is obviously hot work at Oxenford Studios where the boxing is taking place. It's very hot work here too. I'm not complaining, I have to say. It's about 27 degrees. We're into the 80s here, and it is very, very strong sunshine. It's going to be hot for the hockey players who are getting underway. In fact, they've been underway here since 9 o'clock this morning. And hockey, of course, one of the big draws in the Commonwealth programme, has been since it was first introduced into these games 20 years ago in Kuala Lumpur. Now, I'm sure many of you will have been amongst the 9 million people who stayed up glued to their screens in Rio's Olympic Games when Great Britain's women's hockey team won that that formidable and historic first Olympic gold in the penalty shootout against the Dutch. 8 of that squad are here playing for England this time, so they've got high hopes of wresting the title away from the Australian Hockey Roos, who've won it 5 out of 6 times in these games. Now, Alex Danson is the new England captain, and she's taken over from Kate Richardson-Walsh, the formidable Kate, who has retired. The two of them have been chatting and perhaps maybe passing on some skippering tips to one another.